This is the first video about how to install the BLTouch, which is the auto bed leveler that we're going to use on our printers. The first thing I decided to do was to take my roll of plastic off. So you'll need to do that so that you can put it up on its back and take it apart down here in the motherboard area in order to install the wires for our BLTouch. So that's why I took the plastic off, so it wouldn't be falling off while I was turning it. The next thing I need to do is get my tool kit, and you need to come get the BLTouch kit from me. I want to go through this. We have an extra probe. We have some instructions, a couple of little packages of screws that we're going to need. We have the metal bracket that allows us to attach that onto the printer. We have the BLTouch itself, and this thing has a little circuit board on the back that our wire hooks into. It has this little probe that pulls out, and then when you touch it, it'll suck itself back in. That's how it determines how close it is to the table. We'll show you that in action later. We have one big long cable that's going to become our new Z-axis, and we'll put that on. We have a little programmer. This makes things really nice. I'm going to open that up so we can show it to you for a minute. That just has the circuitry already pre-installed. It comes with the kit. Allows you to install or update the firmware and the software. So that won't be installed, but we'll use it to install. We have a pin 27 board, and we have the little program converter board. And then we have some zip ties. So this is a really nice little kit. They're about 50 bucks, but it comes with everything you need at least. And I think they make kits for other types of printers too. But it makes it really nice for doing what we have to do. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of put everything back in the box just to get it out of the way. Now you know what's in there. Except for the little BLTouch bracket, the BLTouch itself, and the screws. So these first two screws are how we're going to attach the BLTouch to our printer. It will go that way. So this bracket fits around, fits around that bolt head right there, and we'll go on where these two small screws that hold our front cover on go on. So that's where that will go, and then our BLTouch will go underneath that. So first thing we'll do is just attach the BLTouch to the bracket. Now we have it oriented. We want the hole in the upper left and the BLTouch on the bottom. So just open these screws, dump them out carefully so you don't lose them. And then I like to find the Allen wrench that I want to use, make sure it fits in the head. Okay, now we'll take our bracket and orient it so that the hole is in the upper left. We'll put the BLTouch so that it pokes down with the circuit board toward the fan case, and then we'll go ahead and put in one of our screws. I'm going to actually do that a little different. It's easier if you put the screws in there first, or at least the one. Okay, and then flip that upside down. So if I put the screw through on my Allen wrench, I am holding the hole in my fingers, putting that on the bottom there. That one started. Go ahead and put that in. I want to screw that in a ways, but not so tight that it won't allow me to adjust for the other one if I need to. So I'll do the same thing. I'll just put that screw on the end of the Allen wrench, put it in the hole, and then hopefully it'll start itself. There we go. And we can go ahead and snug them both up. Use the other end of my Allen wrench and just kind of snug it. You don't want to break the plastic on the BLTouch. Now, while we have this off, because it's a lot easier to do now, I want to show you the version. And right down here at the very bottom, we have like the serial number, the QR code, and then we have version 3.1. So now we have that on our bracket. Yours should look like this. Now we're going to remove the cover on our fan. So I'm going to set this back in the box over there for a minute. Readjust our camera just a little. And I want to remove the two screws that hold our fan cover on the front of our ender. Just going to remove them both for now. It's a lot easier to install the cable while this is off the machine than once you put it together and you only have that much clearance. So we want to take the white end of our cable. We have a black and red connector on one end and just a white end on the other. We have little key bumps on the connector and little key bump slots on the other end. We're just going to put that inside there and pull that down till it snaps in. Okay, make sure it's snapped in good all the way around. Then we'll kind of flip that over that way and go ahead and try to reinstall this fan cover. So I've got it through the fan and the bolt on the cover, and we'll get that started again. And then we'll screw that in till it's barely snug, but still everything moves well. And I'll take our other one. Now this one's a little bit more tricky. And we're going to slide it in past the wire. So we're going to try to attach that to the end of our wrench. Slide it past our wire and into the hole back behind there. And we may have to adjust, wiggle our fan shroud a little. But once we get that screw started, we can go ahead and put it in. So get them both started good, centered. You see how that hole goes around that bolt. And we tighten. And I'll just take the short end of my wrench and snug that up good. Don't want it to fall off when we're using it. I'll have to use the long end of the wrench for this one. And get it in there and basically push about as tight as I can get it. And that's our BLTouch installed onto our X-axis now. At this point, we can take our zip ties that came with it. So we got a little pouch of them here. If you need more, come see me and we'll get you a couple more. We'll undo the holder on those. Some guys will actually take this and feed it up through the cable covering. That's kind of hard to do, but you can do it if you want. I may give it a little play between here and there for my first zip tie, just so that it's not going to be rubbing against either one of those metal frames. And then I'll take one of my zip ties that came in the kit and we'll pull that around and over and get it started until we adjust that so that it won't be touching. And we can do a little of this adjusting later too, but I basically want it to be where I can see it not touching either bracket, this one or that one. Okay, then I'll go ahead and feed that wire through the opening of the printer there. We'll come up somewhere near this curve and add another one. And essentially you're just going to follow that around those cables and back down the back of the printer. And into your motherboard case. Now you could maybe use more zip ties if yours is kind of twanging. I'm going to spin this machine around now so you can see the back side here. What I do, we'll put another one here. Again, we're just strapping that cable to our other wiring harness parts. Have that follow down along there. And put our last one. Now, I like more than this as far as zip ties go. So I'm going to go ahead and get some more and we'll add them too. But basically I'm just following that all the way down underneath. We're going to go in that same hole back there that all our other wiring harness goes into. So we'll kind of feed this down like I'm headed that way. Okay, be careful not to jerk the wire out of your buck converter. And then we'll poke that up in there through our box later. Now I'll just take my clippers and make sure these are pulled down snug, and we'll just clip off the ends of our zip ties all around that wire we just installed, just to clean it up and also to help keep it from catching on other things. When we do the rest of our work. Okay, and all those will just go in the garbage. Now we're ready to open up our motherboard and work inside.